In the ever-changing world of the housing market, it's important to stay on top of the latest trends. So in this video, I put together a market analysis to dive into the trends of the Myrtle Beach housing market this past June. It'll be broken up into 5 parts, and there'll be 4 major categories that we'll discuss, and then we'll talk about what that means for the market. If you're trying to get a leg up on the market, then come chill with me. We'll have a good conversation. And later, I got big news about what's happening with mortgage rates, so stay tuned. Before we get started, welcome to my channel, Myrtle Beach Living, where I give you guys as much information as humanly possible about living in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm a local realtor with Keller Williams, so use me as a resource. And if you know anyone or you yourself needs some real estate help or have some questions, please reach out. And if you find yourself coming back, subscribe because I upload weekly. Now, if you didn't catch my last market update video, I did one, I think it was in May. I'm a little bit behind, just a little, but I'm gonna put the link to that in the description so you guys can check that out. I try to do these once a month just to keep you informed, give you a professional view of the market from my perspective at least. This video will be broken up into 4 categories, like I said: new listings, days on market, median sales price, inventory, and then after that, we'll talk about what that means for the market. All right, so most people think the housing market is dead or dying, and some of the ways we determine whether or not that's true is by looking at houses that are actively on the market, newly posted listings, and how many of those converted into sales. So I got some numbers here on my screen from the Coastal Carolina Association of Realtors. I know, freaking mouthful, but I've got some numbers here so that I can lay out kind of what happened or what's been happening, what's trending, and where we're at now. And what our realtor website does is it takes data from the previous month, so June 2023 in this case, and compares it to June now, so June 2024. So just looking at new listings, in June 2023, we had about 1,084 new listings compared to this June's 1,129. So this shows positive growth for the market and that more and more people are putting their homes on market. Now, last June, there was 1,021 of those listings sold. This June, only 926 have been sold. So that kind of shows you that homes are staying on the market more than they have in the past, which, I mean, you can probably already tell that if you're looking actively, you can probably already see homes have been on the market for way longer than what they were. And that's not necessarily a negative thing or a bad thing. It just shows how hot the market has been up until this point. And now it's starting to cool off a little bit. So overall, listings have increased by about 18.5% since last year. We'll go into it a little bit more in depth once we get through the rest of the parts. So the next one is days on market. And days on market just indicates how long a home is on the market for, obviously. This can tell us a lot about the buyer demand. And last June, we averaged about 117 days on the market. This June, we're at 112. So it seems to be going down a little bit. It seems to be decreasing. At least this past June it did. It's really not good for your home to sit on the market too long. Most agents are going to talk to you about that when they meet with you and explain the longer a home stays on the market, the less valuable it becomes in the buyer's eyes. It kind of screams that maybe something's wrong, and maybe on your part the price might be too high, or something, because the buyers dictate how much a home is worth at the end of the day. So it's just something to keep in mind. Overall, days on market have decreased by 8.4% since last year, which is a positive thing. Um, I feel like we can expect that number to stay around the same. I don't really see it decreasing much more until a lot later, but that's what it's at right now. The next part of it is median sales price. They fluctuated a lot over the past year. Prices were on a slight increase for a while recently, and it started to plateau. Last June, median sales price was 371,000, and now this past June, the prices have gone down to around 365. So, that's not really that much when you're looking at the price of a home, but it's still a decrease. It's still a positive thing. We got to look at the positives. Since 2023, the median sales price has decreased about 1%, which tells me prices won't increase very much, if at all, as 2024 progresses. I think they'll just stay around the 370 mark, just because it's like I've looked at the graphs and I'll try to put them on screen, but you can literally see how it's just small incremental changes. It's not changing much. Inventory is basically how many homes are up for grabs right now for buyers. And it's been a huge topic in the real estate space because most markets right now, supply is lower than it has been, but it's been continuously rising. And personally, I can see it. I can really, a lot of construction is being introduced into the market. So I would definitely keep an open mind about new construction homes. I know my parents have for a while only built homes. They haven't really bought homes that were already built. They like choosing what they want on their home and stuff like that and what layout they want. So that's always a good option. And right now in Myrtle Beach, especially, there's a lot of new construction homes being built. I'm seeing them everywhere. I'm seeing new neighborhoods. I'm seeing current neighborhoods that are still getting new homes built in them and have been up for a while, for years. So definitely a lot of new construction. But as for the numbers, by the end of June in 2023, there were 2,575 in inventory. This past June, the number was 3,151, which is an increase by about 22.4%. So that just proves positive growth in the inventory side of things. It's safe to say inventory is steadily increasing to more normal levels. I even predicted that in my last market analysis because, like like I was seeing all these new construction homes being built, it seems to be a common trend in other markets too. Because even within South Carolina itself, there are multiple markets, and all of them are different. Like in a more central part of South Carolina, the market will be a lot different than, and not only the market, but the type of buyers. There could be more investors, there could be more renters. So, the coastal market is not going to be the same as the inland market, and South Carolina market isn't going to be the same as New York market or something like that. So that's just something to always keep in mind. And not only that, the market is always fluctuating, and there are ups and there are downs, just like with anything, just like with the stock market, just like with life. So what goes up must come down, what goes down must go up eventually. Now let's talk a little bit about what that means for the market. Up until recently, the market has been a lot more normal than in the past. It was a lot more active and hot during COVID and afterward, well, not during COVID, but afterward in 2020 and 2021 and 2022 even, there was a lot more activity in the market. And now things are starting to cool down and become more normal, but that doesn't mean the market's dying like a lot of people love to clickbait with. It just means that things are stabilizing. And since prices don't really show much signs of increasing any more than they already have, inventory is increasing, and new listings are increasing as well. It shows that the market is looking pretty healthy, if you ask me. And a lot of other top agents and people in the real estate space agree that the market is just becoming normal and it looks fine. My only concern is days on market. Like I said before, the longer your home stays on the market, the less likely you as a seller is going to get the amount you were asking for in the beginning. So I guess it's become more important to accurately price your home. And not only that, but negotiation has become a lot more important in this kind of market, just because, you know, you want to make sure you get as much as you can and as much as the market is willing to give you. Now let's talk about that big news that I was telling you guys about at the beginning of the video. So most of you have probably already heard by now that mortgage rates were sitting at around 7% for a while, and a couple weeks ago they went down to the mid sixes, which is really good. A lot of home buyers sit on the sidelines waiting for rates to drop and change, which personally, I don't think it's smart to base your decision off of uncertainties. And you never know if or when the rates will ever drop or change. So I always preach that if you're in a financial situation or just in a personal situation in general where moving is a necessity, or not even just a necessity, but just something that's really important, then I wouldn't let something like that hold you back. And not only mortgage rates, but what's going on right now with elections. Every election year, the amount of buyers on the sideline is astronomical, and I just don't understand. Like, I just don't understand. There has, to my knowledge, not been a time where the housing market has drastically changed right after someone has gotten into office. I don't see that being a good reason to wait, especially if it's important and a necessity, like I said. Fear is the biggest shackle. It can hold you back. So don't let fear of, oh, I don't want to be stuck with this high rates. There are always options to refinance, and there are always options to get the most out of your situation. And especially with real estate, you know, talking to a lender um, to get their input on it would be a good idea. I can't give financial advice, but I can definitely give real estate advice. Just speak to a professional. If you're worried, talk to a financial advisor. That's always a good idea. One of my close friends on my basketball team is a financial advisor. So now I also think it's worth noting that mortgage rates are predicted to drop even more as 2024 progresses, and they've already dropped pretty significantly. So it's looking good for the market. Now, nobody has a crystal ball telling them the future. No one can 100% accurately predict what's going to happen in the market. All you can really do is inform yourself the best you can and just make an educated decision. And things will ultimately work out for you in the end. So in my next video, I'll show you guys some nice affordable neighborhoods you don't want to miss that are actively on the market in Myrtle Beach right now. If this video was helpful, leave a like, and until next time, peace and love.